Alright, Shalom, this is your brother Shamar from the Phoenix camp. And with that being said, I want to give our honor, glory, and praise to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Kakadash. Double honors to the elders of Great Millstone, and peace and salutations to the brothers that are doing this work with true sincerity. Let's go ahead and jump into the lesson. This is, start at verse 13, James 3 and 13. It says, "Who was a wise man and endued with knowledge among you? Let him show out of a good conversation, let his works with meekness of wisdom." So let's just run that down. "Who was a wise man endued with knowledge among you? Let him show out of a good conversation his works with meekness of wisdom." So this is going to describe a man who has knowledge, a man who has his truth. Who was a wise man endued with knowledge, get that word endued, has understanding among you. Let him show out of his good conversation, his conduct. It's a lot. His works with meekness of wisdom. And that's no better example than apostles and elders of Great Millstone. And a perfect example is that, by contrast, is that whole big parade and spotlight they had on Nathaniel, Bishop, what they call Bishop Nathaniel. In that video where they gave him all kinds of pomp and circumstance, treat him like he was some type of celebrity. That wasn't a meekness of wisdom. So that lets you know that they don't have the truth. And you never see the apostles and elders pump themselves up, put themselves in any type of spotlight. They set the example to do the things that all brothers must do. They go out there in the highway and the hedges, they make their videos, they prophesy and teach, they rebuke and they scorn. They do all the things that are expected of them as men of the Lord. They are the wise men that do with knowledge, man. That proves right there that they are the ones that were given understanding of this truth. And said, by contrast, you don't see that in these other camps. They big up their leaders. They big up themselves. They're puffed up with pride. They're puffed up. There's no meekness in any of their works. So this is the scripture to let you know. This is a scripture filter what the real is, man. It says, verse 14, "But if you have bitter envy and strife in your hearts, glory not and lie not against the truth." And we know that's contrary to the true understanding. And we see men like that. We see men, but we see men, and we were among men that had that spirit of bitter envy and strife. And if you go to these men's pages, that's all they talk about is bitter envy and strife. You guys, you niggers, you niggers. I don't have to name no names. The spirit itself will tell you what that is. So you got to stay away from men who speak with bitterness in their videos. You got to stay away from men who don't have a true understanding of this truth. You have to stay away from men that are contrary to the descriptions that are written here about who is a wise man and do with knowledge. So if you have a man that's filled with bitterness, you guys, then that just proves that the truth is not in him. It says, "This wisdom that is not from above, but it's earthly, sensual, and devilish." You see that? It's demonic. And why? Because the Lord put demons on those men to teach a false doctrine. And like I said, I don't gotta mention any names. This is just a filter for brothers to understand that these men are not teaching the truth. These men that have the demonic doctrines of bitter and envious, this you guys, you nigger spirit, they are not teaching the truth. It says, "For where envy," in verse 16, "for where envy and strife is, there is confusion in every evil work." So that's let you know how to filter the men of the Lord from those that are not, the fake, the wannabes, the scoffers, the scorners, those that have a semblance of truth, but they are just devils, man. It says, verse 17, "But wisdom that is above is first pure, then peaceable, gentle, and easy to be entreated, full of mercy and good fruits, with good works, without partiality and without hypocrisy." And that's the key word right there, without hypocrisy, man. Let's get that definition for hypocrisy. It says unfeigned, undisguised, sincere. And like I said, that all starts with the example that was given to us by the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Let's get 1 Peter 2:1. And this is just to let you know how to read the spirit of these other false camps out here and false teachers. 1 Peter 2:1, it says, wherefore laying aside all malice and all guile and hypocrisies and envies and all evil speakings, because that's what they're all about. They're all about malice. Let's get that word malice. Malice, ill will, wickedness, depravity, not ashamed to break laws. And then when they speak about adultery, they encourage you to commit adultery. If they encourage you to do any type of wickedness against the Most High, if they encourage you to take the jab, then they are speaking in malice. In all guile, let's get the word guile. Craft, deceit, and hypocrisies, envies, and evil speakings. Wherefore laying aside all malice and all guile, hypocrisy, and envies, and evil speakings. So you got to lay that aside when you're searching for this truth. When you want to understand what the truth is. If you see a man speaking with malice, guile, and hypocrisies and envies, then you lay that aside. If you have that within yourself, you lay that aside. And this is how you're supposed to be, and you're seeking for the truth. As newborn babes, desire the sincere milk of the word, that you may grow thereby. Let's get the word sincere. Pure. That's why a great millstone says that, we claim and we know that we have 100% truth. If so be you have tasted the Lord is gracious. So let's get Luke 12:1. It's just a few scriptures that I came across real quick. I'm not trying to get too deep. Just plain and simple, man. Luke 12:1. It says, in the meantime, when they were gathered together, new and more to the people, so much they trod one upon another, they began to say, disciples, first of all. This is Yahushua. He gave this warning, first of all, beware ye of the leaven of the Pharisees, which is hypocrisy. For there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed, neither here that shall need not be known. Therefore, whatsoever ye have spoken dark shall be heard in the light, and that which is spoken in the ear and clouds shall proclaim upon the housetop. So at the end, everything's going to be exposed. That's why these men in these camps, they don't last long, man. They don't last long. And in the meantime, we're supposed to beware of these men, and we're supposed to reveal the evil that these men do. So let's get Matthew 6:24. It's a lot. This is Matthew 6:24. Long day. Battery's running out. Matthew 6:24. And it says, no man can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will hold to one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and mammon. And that's basically this is basically the cause of hypocrisy. Because hypocrisy is pretending to be something you're not when you're really something else. And that comes by serving two masters. So hypocrisy comes down to the serving of two masters. When a man serves two masters, he makes himself a hypocrite. But he's speaking one truth, but he's living in opposition to that truth that he speaks, because he's serving two masters. So hypocrisy is the serving of two masters. When you really break it down, when you really come to the stem of what these men are all about, it all comes down to hypocrisy. When you break down the Salakia, for the word of Yahweh is quick and powerful and sharper than two-edged sword. Yeah, because that's what we have. It can't be disputed. So hypocrisy is a serving of two masters, man. And it's basically about hypocrisy, especially the hypocrisy of these false teachers. So let's get 7, go to 21. And these men are given a strong delusion to think that what they're teaching and what they're preaching is correct. And when that day comes, the Lord's going to basically tell them, I never knew you. So it says right here in Matthew 10:21, so this is going to be the fate of these hypocrites. Not everyone that says to me, Lord, Lord, shall enter the kingdom of heaven, but he that doeth the will of my Father which is in heaven. The will is according to the truth. Many will say to me in that day, Lord, Lord, have we not prophesied in the name of cast out devils, and named the many wonderful works? Then I will profess unto them, I never knew you. Depart from ye that work iniquity. Because that's exactly what hypocrisy is, iniquity. That's one form of iniquity, hypocrisy. So let's get 1 John 1 and 6. And we've read this scripture before, but we repeat ourselves to refresh our minds. This is 1 John 1 and 6. It says, if we say that we have fellowship with him and walk in darkness, we lie and do not the truth. When you walk in the light, as he is in the light, we have fellowship with one another, and the blood of Meshach Yahushua, his son, cleanses us from all sins. And we say that we have no sin, we deceive ourselves, the truth is not in us. So that's where self-examination comes in. You gotta know. The scripture says, "Know ye not your own selves." So let's go ahead and get that. You gotta know yourself, man. You gotta know yourself. That's part of the important aspects of this work, of this walk, is knowing yourself. That's part of combating hypocrisy, to know yourself. Salak. Salak. This is a perfect anti-hypocrisy scripture right here. It says, but be doers of the word and not hearers only, deceiving your own selves. You see that? That's a perfect one right there. But that's not the one I was looking for. I'm going to try to find it. And this is how you combat hypocrisy within yourself. 2 Corinthians 13 and 5. Examine yourself whether ye be in the faith. You gotta examine yourself to see how sincere your walk is. If it's not up to standard, you make it to standard. Prove your own selves. Prove your own selves, man. Let's get that word prove. To test, examine, scrutinize. To see whether the thing is genuine or not as mental. To recognize it's genuine as examination. To prove, deem worthy. Deem yourself worthy, man. Prove your own selves. Challenge yourself. Are you doing everything that you should be doing? Are you walking the way you should be walking? Know ye not your own selves? So the scriptures call us to know ourselves, man. And to know ourselves is to question any type of hypocrisy that is in us. How that Meshach Yahushua is in you, except unless you don't stand the test, ye be reprobates, man. But I trust you should know that we are not reprobates. And I pray to Yahweh that you do no evil, not that we should appear approved, but that ye should do that which is honest, though we be as reprobates. And honesty is the opposite of hypocrisy. For we can do nothing against the truth, but for the truth. For we are glad when we are weak, and you are strong, and this also we wish, even as your perfection. So see that, for we can do nothing against the truth, but for the truth. So it's all about proving yourself, man. Challenge your own hypocrisy. Challenge your own self, man. Prove yourself. Know yourself. Know yourself, man. Question yourself. Before you point fingers at another brother for this, that, the other, point a finger at yourself first, man. Point a finger at yourself first. Challenge your own bullshit. And I brought this up before in a previous lesson. I'm going to bring it up again. The other Gabar says, before we go out and teach others, we must teach ourselves. And that includes examine ourselves whether we be in the faith, man. Whether we be sincere about this thing. And if you're not, then you got to take the necessary steps to improve your walk. The just man falleth 7 times. So us being in the flesh, we're gonna fall in these areas at times. But the thing about it is that you don't stay there. You don't stay there. You get back up. Let's get Joel 27 and 8. Two more lessons. We'll close it on that. Salak. Job 27 and 8. It says, what is the hope of a hypocrite, though he has gained when Yahweh takes away his soul? For what is the hope of a hypocrite? Will Yahweh hear his cry when trouble comes upon him? Will he delight himself in the Almighty? Will he always call upon Yahweh? So what is the hope of a hypocrite, man? Basically, that's saying there is no hope. There is no hope for a hypocrite. You know, so you gotta constantly challenge yourself. You gotta constantly challenge if there's any hypocrisy in you. You know, even King David, you know, he asked the Lord to reveal any type of hypocrisy in him, man. Let's see if I can find that scripture. Even David prayed to the Lord to reveal any type of uh, iniquity or any type of hypocrisy in him. This is the Psalm 139 and 23. You know, and we should pray this prayer also, man, because sometimes you don't know what you're doing bullshit until someone points it out to you. This Psalms 139 and 23. Search me, O Yahweh, and know my heart. Try me and know my thoughts, and see if there be any wicked way in me, and lead me to the way everlasting. So you gotta constantly ask the Lord to reveal things about yourself and to you, and that's part of knowing your own self, man. You know, and that's something that you have to meditate upon in your walk. You know, if you find yourself just going through the motions of the truth, you gotta really examine yourself and see if you're doing this thing with spirit. But with that being said, it's a real quick lesson. Most High will and hope is edifying. With that, I want to give all honor, glory, and praise to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Kahala Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Let's keep on pushing. Shalom.